You are now entering the Thick Goddess Energy Morning Show. We in the building. High priestess in the building, didn't let my fears kill me. Transmuted my pain in that cleanse in the rain. Found out I was working and I conquered my demons. I accepted my purpose and the goddess I became. I am your host, Ariana, aka Divine Moon Goddess, and this morning show is brought to you by Divine Moon Goddess Healers and Readings.com, where all of your questions get answered. And remember, in the month of March, which we're almost over, so you got like a week left, to go ahead and go on and book any of my services and get 30% off using code FRESHSTART222 that's in the description somewhere. Somewhere over the rainbow. Good morning, Lashina. So don't miss booking your one-on-one, getting a strategic plan together for your fucking 2022 from a boss, okay? Don't do it. Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. I don't know if I'll have any deals next month. I've been offering deals every month, so I don't know if I'll be offering any deals next month. Who knows? Good morning, Becky. Lashina, did I say good morning? Couple of if I can speak. Couple of announcements. You guys have seen my post about the retreat. It is limited spaces available. If you need more information, get in my inbox. Yes, $100 you need now to claim your spot, okay? Otherwise, you won't be able to go. There's limited space. There's nothing I can do unless you get a sleeping bag and you sleep outside on the floor. That's on you, boo-boo. So if you want to do, this may be the only retreat that I do for 2022. I don't know if I can squeeze another one in because this is a busy year. A lot of things that we're doing in upgrades and, stuff with the channel and the websites and a nonprofit organization, the school, transferring the school stuff to the new platform. So there's a lot of stuff going on this year. So I don't know if I'll be able to do two, but we are doing the full moon bathing, which is pretty fucking cool. I'm very excited. So if you can go, you could go. You always can do it later on. And it may, depending on how I like it, it may become my annual or yearly retreat, which I think would be dope as hell. So what else is going on? People don't realize that my classes are really cheap. The price that's on the classes is for all of the classes. So like if you purchase one of the classes, you get all the episodes of the class for that price. So if you've been in the shop and you've looked at the prices and you thought it was per episode, it's not. You pay the one price and you get all episodes. Most of the classes are at least 4 classes. Some have 5, one has 6. And then, of course, my tarot is the longest one with 13 episodes. So just so you know. Good morning, Jose. Good morning. Today's show, I know I'm a little bit late because I like a grand fucking entrance, right? Hopefully everybody's doing good. It's Monday. You guys share this shit out. I need to share it out too, huh? That's probably something that I forget is to share my own shit out. Probably need to do that. I'm going to share it out right now while I'm talking because I just harassed you guys to fucking share it out, right? If you're not, I think I'm already streaming on 4 platforms, but I shared it to like 2 other places. Okay. But yes, I do need you guys to keep sharing my shit out. Okay. Good morning, Betty. Today we are going to talk about, so you want that 6-figure man for those of you who are single, right? So if you already have a good man, this show is not really for you, but I would love you to put your input in the comments for these lovely ladies who don't understand what it means. All right. So I was trying to think, do I have any more announcements before I go ahead. If you missed my live crystal sale, go watch it from yesterday on the Divine Moon Goddess channel. Go watch it because I had some really good deals and some really good crystals. I got some new stuff in today, which I haven't unpacked, but I will actually be putting some pictures up on new product today. Yes, Daniela. Yes, Daniela. So, one of the things that I come across and I hear a lot, I hear a lot of women who want, those six-figure man. They want the man that makes big dollars, big bank roll, right? But a lot of women don't realize what that entails, right? So there's a misconception, right, of what goes behind people who got money. Until someone gets to a certain place in their status and their wealth, they are working very hard to get there. So they're not going to have time. And a lot of people don't understand that. I see a lot of unfortunate, a lot of women who want their man up their ass. I don't understand this personally because I'm not that woman. I don't want my man up my ass 24/7. I actually want him to have a life and know people outside of us. I want to miss him. But, I think there's a lot of women that confuse what relationships are. And then as soon as you get a relationship, it's like the man is supposed to be, conjoined twins at the side of your hip. Hey, Joe from Australia. So I think and we get a bad rap as women. A lot of the ones like me who don't want the man up your ass gets a bad rap from the plenty they do. And so I think a lot of times people forget, especially women forget what it takes though, to have that man who's bringing in that kind of money. They're not going to have time for you, especially if they're still creating the career, creating the business, creating the empire. There is a bit of patience that you need to have. And a lot of people have a very impatient energy or a short attention span where it's like, well, if you're not going to give me attention, I'll just go seek it elsewhere. And so that's become a normal thing amongst a lot of women. And this could be a younger generation. I don't know that it's like, okay, well, if you're not going to give me attention, I'll seek it elsewhere. And the problem is that kind of leads you down of wanting attention right now, wanting someone right now. I don't understand what is the reason to rush to marriage. I don't understand what's the reason to rush into full blown like marriage situations. I don't know, besides the pre programming that we have, where it's someone told us that we got to be married by a certain age. Somebody told us that, if we weren't married, that, something's wrong with us, or what did they call the women that weren't married by 20 and shit? What did they call them? There's a name for this, that you were kind of singled out, like no one's going to want you if you weren't married by 30. It was just like you were tainted. You were like fucking tainted. I can't remember the name. It's not old maid. It may be old maid, but there's another name for it. If someone remembers, put it in the comments. So there's this thing of, you got to look at what kind of man you want and be realistic to it. So if you want a man up your ass, like if you truly want a man up your ass every day, all day, that man's broke and ain't got no motherfucking job. Like, let's just be real. He's broke and ain't got no job. That's the only way that motherfucker is up your ass every day. All day, every day. Is it a spinster? It might be spinster or old maid. I think old maid is an old term and spinster might be the other. The only way this dude is up your ass is he's broke. Broke. Living off you. Yeah, old maid and spinster. So yeah, we used to get cursed, right? You were cursed if you were single by a certain age. If you were married, it was like, oh, you're old goods or some shit, right? There's really no rush. If you got someone who's constantly blowing up your phone, that's not love. That's someone who doesn't trust you. Okay. You kind of have to look at things for what it is. And I don't understand what is the deal to want your man to be calling you all day long? Because me, I'm like, how the fuck are you working and making money if you're calling me all day long? That just doesn't fly. So I'm not sure where women got to that point where that's what they want. But the idea is then if this man's paycheck is short or this man doesn't have money to take you out on a date, you have a problem with that. So I think you need to pick and choose. And let's just be, is Scarlett the other one? I thought Scarlett was for like the risque ladies. The risque. You really need to be honest with yourself about what you want in this life and be realistic to the position of the person that you're trying to date, right? Because you could say all day that I want this type of guy, but it's unrealistic to think that someone up your ass is making any money. That's not happening unless they've already are established and have wealth. Then that's a different story, and that person could chill next to you all day with their fucking laptop and create wealth in that way. But most people are not dating the wealthy man yet. Okay. Scarlett is the adulterer. Good morning, Sasha. Yeah, I thought Scarlett was the risque woman. She's still not married, but she was the whore basically. They just didn't want to call her a whore, so they called her Scarlett. Yeah, if you were you had too many partners, you were Scarlett. If you want someone who works 40 hours, they're not going to have big bank to do a lot of stuff. Not saying everybody who works 40 hours doesn't have money, but we all know, even us as women know that you have to put in hours. 40 hours a week ain't shit. Even if you make $20 an hour, 40 hours a week ain't shit after taxes, medical, 401k, stocks, or whatever the fuck else you have being taken out of your check. 40 hours a week ain't shit. So if you have an ambitious man, he's putting in that 60, 70 hours, 100 and some hours. If you have an entrepreneur, someone who's creating an empire, they're working around the clock. So if you truly want that, then you have to be patient to reap the benefits with that man. And I don't want to just say man, because it could be a woman. You could date a woman. I don't care what you fucking date, right? But I'm addressing more women because this is what I hear a lot. Even when I'm like, I watch my competitors. I watch a lot of my competitors on YouTube, and I watch the readings and how the readings are. And I watch the conversations and how that conversations go. And it's a common theme. A lot of women, it's a common theme to kind of think that this man making big bank is going to have all the time to be in your phone all day long. And then I've seen women get pissed off because, even myself, I've been in this position. I've been pissed off and mad because it's like, damn, I ain't heard from you in fucking days, And then, the thing about it is you're going to have to make some decisions. What are you willing to sacrifice to be with this person? Or go find you someone who has more time for you. It's kind of that simple. I think we make this shit a little bit more harder than what it needs to be. And I think a lot of women, for some reason, want to change the man into what they want. You like this man, but you don't necessarily like what he does, or or the way he makes that money, but you like the idea of it. It's kind of like, maybe you need to check yourself. Right, 60 hours ain't shit. Loaf of bread, that's what you get after that paycheck. Because rent, bills, car note, car insurance, and all of that shit coming out. So you got to kind of look at that time and effort. And I think it does a disservice to the other women who are like, okay, well, that's not what I'm asking, but there is a reality to it. So you got to be realistic. What kind of man do you want? What kind of relationship do you want? And are you willing to be patient to get it? So if you find someone that you really like and you really care for, and you see this person is very ambitious, there's something you're going to have to sacrifice to be with that person. And a lot of it is time. And a lot of it is not being able to see them and being okay with that and understanding their career, their goals. I think a lot of women also get with someone, and then all of a sudden the man's career goals need to change for them. Like, this person was very ambitious when you met him, And then all of a sudden now we're together. Nope, it's got to be about me in our relationship. And it doesn't quite work that way. Especially if you find a ambitious man. He's going to be trying to create that career, that empire, that life, that business. And so you are going to have to be patient with that situation and that relationship, and to slowly move. And I see a lot of people trying to rush to the altar, rush to the relationship, rush to their this happy place. And I'm not sure why that is, other than pre-programming, saying that we need to be married by a certain age. And I see a lot of women that think they need to be married before they're 30, like if it's a curse to be married after 30. I don't know why that's a thing, or why we need to deprogram that shit out of our heads. You don't have to be married by 30. It's not a crime if you're not fucking married by 30. I think most people don't know what they truly want before 30. I think you're still very much a child before 30. So if I married whoever I was with around 30, yeah, that wouldn't have ended well. I'd be divorced quite a few times. I'd have been divorced quite a few times, because, you think you like people and then you don't. And it's like, I think you don't really know what you want in your 20s. Right, Lashina, 13 years. And a lot of my sessions, I talk to a lot of women who, one of the biggest things is why the biggest conversation is that they're not married yet. They've been with someone 5 years. And it's like, what's too long? What is too long? What is, why is there a time limit on, well, 5-year mark, if we're not married, you don't like me. Well, that's not the case. It's not the case. Some people want to do certain things. Some people want a certain amount of money before marriage. Some people want a certain amount of stability before marriage. And I don't ever think that you as a woman should pressure a man for marriage. I don't think you should ever pressure him, like, when we getting married? When we getting married? Are we getting married yet? And what I see is a lot of selfishness. It's all about the woman. It's not really about the man, because, women kind of come up with our dreams when we were a kid in our wedding dresses and all this shit. And then we bring it to our adult life, and we forget that that was a fantasy when we were a child, right? And so we're still playing this out as an adult, instead of like, wait, now I'm in the real life, and this is kind of not how it is, right? Hey, Sandra. So I don't think you should rush. And I think that we should start to tell our girls, our women, that you don't have to rush to married. You're not tainted because you're 30 and unmarried. You know what I mean? You don't have to rush with your partner and get married. And I still hear it. It's like family members, moms and dads are like, when you guys get married, when you get married. Why is that a push? Get married when you're called to get married when you want to get married. But I don't think it's ever going to end well if someone's being pressured into it, or like the family's pressured in, like, when you going to make her an honest woman? When you going to make him an honest man? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's ever going to be good if you're pressured into this shit. Like, we got kids, we got to get married. Yeah, no, you actually don't. Yeah, it's hard. And that's why I say we have to do more of deprogramming women, in the way of this thought that we have to be married. And if you're with someone, and it's always like the 5-year mark itch, where it's like, oh, this man doesn't love me. We're not. And I remember going through this with my daughter's father, because that's pretty much the only relationship that I was in for a very long time, even though I was a kid. And there was this thing we got to get married. We've been together. We got a kid, marriage is it. And I didn't realize that that's just not how it goes. There's reasons, you want, you want this proposal, you want this man to come with you. But if you're pressuring him about it, well, how good is that proposal going to be for him to speak out of his heart space? Like, man, I'm ready. And then the other part about it is, do you make this man safe enough to want to marry you? A lot of times we women get very selfish in our energy, and it is all about us, what we need, what we're doing, what we're going through. And we forget about mental health of the men. I've talked to many women where the man is struggling and the woman is like, he needs to man up. And it's like, Damn, don't you think that's a little cold? That's a little cold here. We're not thinking about the man. We're just kind of thinking about us, what we need. So don't first understand the type of man you want and what it is going to entail to have that man. The bigger the money, the less time he has with you. There's some people that have CEO jobs, or not CEO, but like they have jobs where they have to entertain CEOs. They got to be out of the house or flying in or this, that, and the third. Can you even deal with that as a woman? Can you deal with your person being gone? Can you deal with your person being gone from you long periods of time and still maintain and hold it down and not cheat on this person because you're lonely in the moment? There's a lot of things that come with these different positions and money and background. And if you know that you can't deal with that, don't do it, right? Don't go for that type of man. If you know that, like I said, if you want your man up your ass, be okay with that man being broke. You want a broke man. I'm going to tell you, any one of you guys that want a man up your ass, you want a broke man. I don't. I don't want a broke man. I don't want a man up my ass. Um, First, figure out what type of man you want and what that entails having him. Some men are not going to have all the time and be able to take you out on all these dates, depending on what they're doing or how they're living and the money that they have. It is, right? And then once you get there, deprogram the bullshit out. Stop trying to run down the aisle with the first two men that you meet. I see this a lot. It's like men actually do more looking at the relationship for all of these sides before they even want to get married. Some men, you'll hear them like, I knew I wanted to marry her, the first time I met her. But a lot of times men take it slower than women, and women are like trying to rush down the aisle, like, well, you like me, I like you, let's get married. Fuck it, let's get married. Why not? Where not every man is trying to rush. I would be very leery with any man trying to rush me down the aisle, and I have been in this life. Any man that was just like if I'm just talking to you, I remember being in my 20s and I remember just talking, and then a man would say some shit like too heartfelt, but you could tell it was some bullshit, and it's like, you don't even know me. Like, really? Yeah, no. That's no for me. So deprogram ourselves is like to say what we've been told up here. Somebody has told us some shit that's not true. To think that you got this 6-figure man and he's going to have all the time to be up your ass is what is going on up here for you to think so, right? For you to get with a man and think that, within a year, oh, we need to get married, I need a ring on my finger. Why? I still want to know, besides the pre-programming, what is the point of the rushing down the aisle? Most of it is just to say that we're married. That's the pre-programming part. It's just to floss the ring. Most people just want to throw their pictures on Instagram. Oh, I'm engaged. I saw this meme. It was a story. It wasn't like a meme, but it was a story. And I don't know how true the story was, but it was crazy. And it was this girl, and she was with this guy with all their family. They went to dinner, and he kind of, something happened. He left and went outside, and he texted her, and he was like, come outside. I had a panic attack. I'm having these mental issues. He's like, can you come here for a moment? And she's like, what the fuck? You just left me with my family. They're all staring at me. They're all looking at me. And she's like, no, I'm not going out there, and blah, blah, blah. She's just like dissing him. And he's like, man, I'm telling you, I'm having an anxiety attack right now, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I don't care. You embarrassed me, blah, blah, blah. So the whole time you could tell it's all about her. It's nothing about this man. And then he goes, finally, after trying to get her to come outside, he's like, your family's looking at you? And she's like, yeah. And he was like, they're looking at you because they're all in on it. And he was actually doing a proposal. And so she looked very stupid, but he was like, since you showed me how you truly felt about my mental, he was like, now I'm really going to leave you, and he kind of dissed her at the end. But it was like that story of how inconsiderate a lot of women can be. And we can as women because we're not checking in on the men. And I just, I know we're talking about the six figures, but I hope that you guys are checking in on your men in your life and seeing how is their mental capacity. They're, a lot of them are stressed the fuck out in life trying to make shit happen. Are you checking in? Are you seeing how they're doing? Or are you in a phase of it's all about me and what I need in this moment? And if you notice that you're all about you and you don't take those times to really check in, you need to. You need to stop, take that moment and say, you know what? Let me see how my person is doing. Let me see how their mindset is. Let me see, are they stressed the fuck out? Men handle shit in different ways than we do, of course. But the deprogramming is real. Take all the shit out of your brain. Ask yourself the whys. I always tell you guys this. Ask yourselves the whys. Why do I want to get married? Not to say it's not a nice idea. Not to say we all, especially as women, haven't had that dream of walking down the aisle, you know. But what else is there besides the dream, besides the fantasy from being a child, besides what we've been told that that's what happens? What else is behind the marriage? What is behind it besides that? You got to ask your whys and know your whys behind it. Um, ask like, why do I want this? I think I ask anything in my life. I'm always like, why do I want this right now? What does this do for me right now? Is this something that will benefit my life? You know? Good morning, Debbie. Yeah, I already blocked her, Becky. And the thing is, that's what I promote, Lashina, is best friends. Like friends. Like build a friendship with your person. Most people are running down the aisle with people that they don't really know. They haven't they haven't really taken the time to get to know this person. They haven't gotten, they haven't figured it out. I feel like friendships is what's going to last in the long run. Sex doesn't last. Passion doesn't last. It doesn't. It eventually fades over time. All of those things are cool in the beginning, but can it last? If you've known this person a couple years, every time that you kiss this person, is it still that magic? Or by the third year, you're like, "Ah, I don't even want to kiss you no more." I think people need to look at that. If you ask most people and they're like the hustle and bustle, they're not doing the same shit with this person. They don't have those moments. They're strangers in a home and then they're trying to rush down the aisle. And it's like, do you have a friendship with this person? Can you trust this person with your life? Or are you running down the aisle just to say you have somebody? You know, I remember like when I was younger and I just told myself that I would never just throw anybody in my bed and just so I could say I have a man. Didn't want that, you know? So just think about that. Take your time. There is no rush, despite what people are telling you, because I know it's a lot of pressure from people around us. Not me. I don't, all my family thinks I'll never get married. All of my family thinks I will be single for the rest of my life. That's how they see me. Apparently, I've made an impression that I will be single for the rest of my life, that I'll never get married. At least that I'll never get married in their eyes. So the day that I ever like, hey, you're invited to a wedding, everybody's jaw will drop like, what? You? I think friendships are the key factor in every relationship because a friendship is going to take it to the next level. Being friends, because you ever notice a friendship, you have your friend's back, your friend has your back, you guys are always there. No matter time and space, you guys can come back together and it's like, time never passed. And that's what you want with the person that you want potentially to share the rest of your life with. You want a friendship. You want someone that you can talk to and confide in that's not going to go run and tell all your business to the fucking other people. That's another thing women do, is tell all their business to all of their homegirls. And I know a lot of women do that. They tell everything from fucking penis size to shoe size. I mean, it's like, why are you telling everybody your business? Don't nobody need to know that. And then women are kind of mad when, the best friend is fucking the dude. It's like, well, I mean, you gave her all the keys to get him. You gave her all the keys to work him. You gave her all the keys to catch his attention. You just didn't realize it. I think there's a lot of things that you got to keep to yourself, you guys, about your relationship and your partner and your intimate moments. And don't share everything about your person. They don't need to know that he put it on you. For all they know, he sucks in bed. I don't know who Facebook user is, but thank you, boo. Hey, Melissa. For all your friends know is he fucking sucks. It's lame in bed. Let them think that. I think too many people are trying to prove that they got something. I got this, I got this man. He's putting it on me and he's got money. Stop telling motherfuckers how much your man makes. They don't need to know how much money he makes. They don't need to know what color drawers he has on. Some of you guys telling too much information. And I just want you guys to know that. You don't need to tell everybody everything. Y'all don't even want to know, when I used to be at work, how many pictures I have seen of people's men. And I'd be like, I did not need to see that, ma'am. I did not need to see that. I did not need that information. Like, I did not need to know what he did with you last night. Did not need to know. You just fucked it all up. Okay, I mean, you gotta realize that. Some of y'all telling too much information. Not everybody needs to know that. Some things you and your person need to stay with you and your person. And that's another big problem with relationships is that sometimes men do it. I ain't going to say it's just ladies. Sometimes men do it too, where they talk too much. It's like, why are you saying everything? Why are you sharing everything about your person? You don't need to. That's boasting, bragging, ego. That's all your ego. You know, it's the ego wanting to, hey, I got this, right? You said that shit is nasty. Good morning, Phoenix. I've seen it. I don't say this out of nowhere. I ain't pulling strands out of my ass. I say it because I've seen it. You know, there's a lot of women who tell everything, and people don't need. You're giving the keys to other people of how to seduce your man. I hope you know that. And I would. Everyone would like to think that. Oh, I could trust my friend. I can tell you. Um, Unfortunately, I had the lovely opportunity of my daughter's father having a kid with a girl that was my best friend at the time. And so, you think people are your best friends. You think people have the love and respect for you, and you think that people wouldn't cross those lines. But I can tell you firsthand, people cross those lines, especially when you give them the ammunition, especially when you keep boasting how good things are. I think a lot of things you need to just keep to yourself. Um, Not sharing it all. Don't tell everybody else, everything about your man. They don't fucking need to know. Yeah, I blocked the scammer. It's a scammer morning, apparently. Apparently it's a scammer morning, y'all. So know what you want. Know what that entails. Okay. Oh, thank you, boo. Know what you want. Know what that entails. And then be realistic in this dating shit. Be realistic. Deprogram all this bullshit that people taught you, that people said you had to do, that people said you ain't shit without a ring on your finger. No, you guys are beautiful, amazing fucking adults. Live your life. That doesn't make you less than because you're not, you're not I've and the thing about it is unfortunately a lot of women are very catty in this department where they make you feel like shit because you're not a wife, you're not wifey material, and it's like, damn, bitch. Yeah, that happened to your daughter. Yeah, that happened to me. That was one of the worst things happened. Well, two of the worst things happened to me around the same time. And I know that unfortunately that's life. That's one of the reasons why it took me a very long time to heal. Took me a very long time to heal because I lost my daughter and at the same time found out about the love child that was a month apart from my daughter from the girl that was a best friend. So, you know, it's one of those things like heartbreaking, devastating, and you takes a minute to fucking come back from that. My spiritual path is what helped me get here because without my spiritual path, I would still be a very hurt person, just cold and distant and fuck love. That's kind of how I was before my path. I didn't want it. I'd run from it, run from love. I would run from anything that remotely even looked or felt a little tinge of anything, and I'd run. You said bought your own damn ring. I just think you got to get over some of this bullshit of, oh, you've been with someone 5 years. Where's my ring? 5 years it's not like a 5-year mark and you got to have a ring. This person has to marry you. I kind of feel like people need to take away some of this bullshit ass like pre-programming of what you have to have. 5-year mark or 8-year mark. Oh my God, it's been 8 years. We're not this. So now, um, you know, it's like, why? Why fuck it up? They question your ring. It's like, bitch, I fucking bought this. I ain't taking it off. All last year, I wore a ring on my left hand, and I actually can't find it. It disappeared. Don't ask me where it disappeared. Two, it's the craziest thing. I had bought a ring, and it has the yin and the yang symbol on it, and I wore it on my ring finger because I said I was going to marry myself. And I had a friend like a year or two that he was still wearing his wedding ring after his separation. And it was like people asked me why, and that's where I got it from. That's where I got the idea. And he was like, I'm married to myself. He was like, there's just things I'm not going to do again. And I was like, you know what? I respect that. And well, I had came across this ring that was a yin and a yang, and I bought it, and it fit. I put it on my wedding ring, and I was like, you know what? I am going to be here for me and marry myself until that person comes along that we go to that level. But for now, I'm going to show up for myself and be that person to love myself instead of just waiting like everyone's waiting on this person to come in and change their life. So if you bought yourself a ring, shit, awesome. Wear that bitch. I think it's awesome thing. Yeah. Exactly. You have to love yourself. And see, that's the thing though. We get caught up in the time frame. Everything is a time frame. We're running out of time. So everything is a time frame. If you've been with someone 8 years, they don't buy your ring, they don't marry you, there's a problem. And that's the pre-programming we got to take away. Again, I know we all have the dream of wanting to get married. I know we had the dream of the wedding, shit down to the fucking flower children. But marriage shouldn't determine whether or not you guys love each other or that your relationship shouldn't be torn down because of no wedding. You know what I mean? Like, don't build your relationship off of that, where that's where it has to be. I have to get this ring, otherwise I'm wasting my time. And I hear that from a lot of people. A lot of people without the ring, it's like, I don't want to be wasting my time. Instead of just appreciating the experience with the person that you've been with for however many years, 5, 10, 15 years, and you guys have had this beautiful experience, what does the ring change? It doesn't change. It's actually a contract. You guys know I've said this before about marriage. For me, when you look at it, it is a contract. It is a legal document. It's a contract. That should not determine or take away your relationship with the person. Exactly, Phoenix. I do believe you have to show up and be who you want in your life, right? You got to be what you want. So if you want this, you got to be it to yourself. And that's the only way you're going to call in that type of energy. Yeah. True, true. But that you kind of saw that it wasn't going to go anywhere. That's a little different, right? But and it might, you might be in a relationship 10 years and then be like, you know what? We just don't click no more, like, all right, it's time to move along, and not get into the energy of I wasted my time. Don't think of it as you wasted your time. Look at the experience. What can you take away from this experience with this person? So what? You didn't get a ring. A lot of people are afraid of failure. If they don't get married, then they failed somehow. Well, it's a relationship failed. Do you ever really fail a relationship? No. I love the geriatrics and working with old people because they actually would tell you would meet these older couples and the guy would be joking like he's married third time, three times. He's like, three times charm, finally found the one, you know. And after you get to a certain point, you stop caring about all this shit that we put so much weight on in these relationships, right? And we're like forcing this and we're forcing that, all because of what? Because we want to showboat, because people tell us what we need, right? Right. Exactly, Phoenix. And that's one of the biggest things. It is a fantasy. We've had this fantasy, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wanting to get married. The only time it's a problem is when you start making it a problem in your relationship, right? Because I'm not saying you got to throw away your marriage dreams, right? We all know we have them. But when it becomes a problem when you start like, that's it. If we're not married, then it's nothing, right? Exactly. It may be marriage and it may not. As soon as you start making it be a problem where it fucks up your relationship, then that is where you're fucking up. When you start putting a ultimatum to your partner, we get married or I'm leaving, that's where you're fucking up at. Because any single person will tell y'all asses that shit. There's several fish in the sea bullshit, or millions of fish in the sea, is fucking lies. Lies. It's lies. Yeah, there may be a lot of fish, but them motherfuckers are tuna. What are some dumb fish? They're not mackerel. What are some bottom feeders? What are some bottom feeder fish? Let me tell you, that's some bullshit. Don't let them lie to you and tell you there are more fish in the sea. These fish ain't swimming right, okay? They're not swimming right. So if you find a good partner, okay, you need to think about some things before you fuck it up. Exactly. Look at that. Didn't have the ring, but bought her ass a house. Catfish. Catfish is a bottom feeder. I actually like catfish. I don't want to diss catfish. You said suckerfish. Man, that is some bullshit. Don't believe it. Don't believe that shit. That there's plenty of fish in the sea. I've been a single woman for a very long time. I can tell y'all, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. I like to think that I was saving myself for the one. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it now. But shit, but like when I was younger, no, I used to be like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? But you know what, Janelle, sometimes people grow apart. Like, just, a lot of people unfortunately think that having a relationship is forever. And although, yes, the fairy tale of forever sounds great, but that's not realistic. That'll set you up for disappointment to think that you and this person may or may not change 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. People change, people grow apart. And then you're like, wait a minute, we aren't the same people we were 27 years ago. You're not. So anyone thinking that they're going to be in a relationship and then 20 something years from now, you're still going to be the same fucking people you were when you got together? No, there's no growth in that. Sometimes growth separates because you're not You're not the same. You're not on the same path anymore. So you look at those 27 years and you're like, you know what? I can appreciate what I've learned from you. I can appreciate the children we had. I can appreciate, where we came. And thank you so much for this experience that we came to have together. Boom, let it go and move forward. A lot of people want to get destructive, start fucking up shits, breaking shit. And it's like, why are you doing all this crazy shit? Because this person has changed and doesn't see you the same way? That's not healthy. Thank you, boo. She said plenty. There is plenty of penises, yes, Heather, but more than half of them ain't worth shit. Yes, you could get a penis anywhere. There is nobody. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. There's not one person out here who has to be single. Everyone can have a fucking marriage. If you want to, you can walk out there and I guarantee you, you will find somebody that will marry your ass today. But do you want that? Is that what you want? Fuck no. Exactly. Exactly. You got to let it go and you move forward and start to just appreciate what you have or had and the lessons. Because if it did turn bad, Daniela, like the cheating shit like that, if it did turn bad, then just be appreciative for the lessons. It is very hard to sit in a space and be like, you know what? I'm thankful you showed me this because now I know when a motherfucker's lying. Now I know what to look for. Now I know the face, the lie face. The deer in the headlight look when someone lies. So sometimes you just have to be like, okay, I appreciate the lesson in this, good or bad. Take the good moments, right? And then, okay, I appreciate this. I appreciate how this has changed and made me grow. It's made me think about some things, right? It's made me kind of figure out what I'm willing to deal with and what I'm not willing to deal with. So even though it could be where it ends bad, where you get cheated on or otherwise, you have to look back and be like, you know what? You still taught me some shit. I learned some shit. And the one thing I can say about my relationship with my daughter's father is that I appreciate that all the shit that I learned. I learned a lot in that fucking relationship where I never went through any of that again in my life. I didn't go through multiple relationships of the same shit. I went through one, that was that. And I was like, nope, not dealing with it again. I learned a lot that I never wanted to deal with again or learn. So huge transformation in that shit, right? Mm. In the moment, it's hard. In the moment, you're mad. In the moment, you're pissed. In the moment, you're like, how could you do this to me, right? Because we had the picture of forever. We always have a picture of forever, whether we are truly in love with a person. You ever look back at a situation and you're like, I wasn't in love with this person? And I'm not going to say unfortunately, but when I look back to my daughter's father, I wasn't in love with him. I was never in love with him. I was in love with the idea of a family. And because we had a kid, it just seemed like that was the thing to do, and I was young. So sometimes when you look back, even though you're pissed and mad at the cheating, pissed and mad at the shit that happened, you actually look back and you're like, actually was never in love with this person. So thank you for the lessons. What would have happened if I would have been with you longer? You start thinking like, damn, I'm glad I got out soon enough, glad I got out soon enough because I actually didn't even love you, I was just here existing with you, in this fucking dynamic of karma lessons, right? Yeah, it's sad when you have someone who repetitive cheating because it does so much to your self-worth and so much to your own health in your well-being and who you are, and you break yourself down thinking, was I not enough, when all the time it was them and their insecurities. Anytime someone cheats on you, it's not really about you, it's about them and their insecurities, and they know they're not enough for you, so they go out to get the ego boost to make themselves feel better. That's a lot of what cheating is. People who don't value themselves and they're still searching outside of themselves for someone to tell them in the second, these blips of, oh, I'm the shit. Yeah. Infatuation is crazy. Sometimes it feels so powerful when we're infatuated with someone, right? And we think we love someone because we're willing to let them drag us through the mud. But you ever realize when you truly love yourself, you don't let anyone drag you through the mud like that? And it's crazy because when you were going through the shit, you thought it was love. Oh, love had me in this situation. Love had me being, stripped down to nothing. Love had me feeling like shit. But then you look at it, you're like, damn, that was not love. Because when you actually do figure out what love is, you're like, yeah, no one's dragging me through the mud. That's love. I love me now. Now I get it. But those are the lessons. Those are the lessons. You were a runaway bride, Debbie. You were like, oh, hell no, I'm scarred. And see, that's what I'm talking about, Daniela. It's just sitting there and acknowledging. You understand, you look back at it and you start to understand the whys and hows in it. And there's no more blaming. You did this, you did that, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't fucking matter who did what. But you start to look at the lessons for what they were and you realize wasn't really love, was it? Because a lot of people like to say, oh, yeah, I love this person. No, you didn't. You love the idea of the relationship. You love the idea of what it could be. And that's the other bad thing that we do is we fall in love with what people could be. We don't love them for who they are. Because if we love them for who they are, we wouldn't be mad. We wouldn't be mad that they're shitty as fuck. We wouldn't be mad that they're cheating. We wouldn't be mad that, they're not doing this, that, and the third. We wouldn't be mad at that because we'd love them for who they are. We fall in love with what we could be. We see it. We see the marriage. We see the home. We see the future. And so that's the idea that we fall in love with. And so deprogram yourself out of that to stop falling in love with what you think this could be. Fall in love with who's right in front of you. If you can love the person for all their faults right in front of you, then you got something. If they can love you for all your faults right in front of you and it's not just future hopes and dreams, you probably got something real. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry for your hubby who was sitting at the altar waiting on you. Did you actually leave him at the altar? I don't know if I don't know. I'm pretty sure weddings are nerve-wracking. I've never been through one. Like I've been to one, but I've never been through one like me, you know. I'm not mad or sad. I literally got everything I wanted. I'm glad I was with him, but that was everything I wanted before. Can't be mad at him. He's not changed into a new person. That's unfair to try to ask him. Exactly, Janelle. I love that you said that because a lot of people will not understand this fact. A lot of people will not understand this about you cannot change or force someone to change just because you're married or just because you've been together for years. Just because you evolve doesn't mean the other person has to evolve. And if that's so, you have to make some huge decisions in your life. And a lot of people think like it's unfair. This person won't change for me. Why won't this person change for me? And it's like, no, you got to understand that they don't have to. That's the selfish part about most of us. It's like, well, I'm elevated. Why ain't this person elevated? And it's just not how it works, right? So you did a beautiful thing where you realized like, that's him and I'm different. You know what I mean? Like that's beautiful. That's how more people should look at it. But more people, they don't see it that way. It's like, well, I changed, you should change. Or I'm ambitious and I want this. You should be like this, right? Right, right. I think anybody that you're with over time, you have love for, right? You generally don't want to see nothing happen to them. You generally you don't wish them bad or anything like that. You might afterwards want them to get their karma, but then you know that even wishing them that is wrong. Hey, Ryan. But the biggest thing is realizing when you look back, most people realize they were never in love with the person. You were in love with the idea, you were in love with the fairy tale, and you were in love of the hope and dream of what it could be, right? You weren't really in love with the person. I damn sure ain't the same person I was 3 years ago, you know? So who's to say that me and my person will make it, 10, 20 years? Who's to say? But in the moment, you have to be present and respect what's present, what's right in front of you, and stop going too far into the fucking future, right? Oh, damn. So they scared the shit out of you, Debbie. You be like, I'm not about to have all these kids. They scared you. Oh, yeah. So I know we kind of ventured, but to before I end it, just remember you want a man that's six figures making big bank. Ladies, he's not going to be up your ass. Okay. If you are someone who's ambitious or even half ambitious, you understand what that looks like. You understand the lack of time. You understand the putting yourself first. You understand you are selfish, especially if you're career driven. You are in a selfish energy. So you have to be realistic with who you're trying to date and be with. You cannot have an ambitious man who's up your ass. That just doesn't work. It's not realistic. I don't know any ambitious men that are up their girls' asses. I really don't. Like, I can't think of one. Um, Right, right, right. You know, the thing about it is it's the biggest thing is to have someone understand it's that not that there's anything wrong with them. People tend to get very personal. Everything is attack on them. So if somebody doesn't like you, it's like, oh, something's wrong with me, right? Instead of understanding that there's different strokes for different folks, there's different flavors. People, sometimes people change and you're not the flavor anymore. Um, and instead of getting all butt fucking hurt and sad over it, just understand, like, okay, I'm not in it no more. That's the mature route to go. But we most of the time we can't because it hurts our ego. It's bruised our ego, and now our ego can't take it. Rejection. We can't take rejection as people. Any sign of rejection, we take it personally, we take it against us, and we take it as we have a flaw now. Now something's wrong with me. This person doesn't like me. Something's wrong with me. And especially in relationships, we take it as a flaw and we take it against ourselves instead of just seeing for what it is. And if we can do that, if we can start seeing things, get all that pre-programming away, see it for what it is, and be okay when things change, maybe it doesn't change for what we want it to change to, and be able to allow people to peacefully move on without all the drama, I think relationships will go a lot better.